Hi students, welcome to another session. So far we are discussing unit 3, that is the basis of behavior. And in this unit we understood the basics of nervous system, the structure of nervous system, what is a neuron, what is its functioning, why it is important for a human body, and we are dealing in the evolutionary perspective and that evolution in two parts, that is biological and cultural ways. So both biological and cultural ways has an effect on behavior, and the basis of behavior depends on the first physical body, how the physical body is constructed. We have to have a good understanding of physical body, its structure, how it is related to human behavior. All these things can be understood by the nervous system. And in the previous session, we discussed about nervous system, how it is divided, and now in understanding the nervous system, we will deal with the different parts or systems like subsystems divided in that nervous system. That is, we understood the major subsystems or central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. The peripheral is further divided into autonomic nervous system, sympathetic, parasympathetic, uh, and there is further endocrine system. And in this session, apart from central nervous system, which is which consists of brain and spinal cord, which has elaborate information, and we will be dealing in the next session. So apart from central nervous system, which is the very important one, before going to that, let us understand the rest which connects to this central nervous system. So what is the rest? The rest is the peripheral nervous system. Let us understand the peripheral nervous system and we will deal further in this session. So the title of this session is Peripheral Nervous System, and let us see what it is. The peripheral nervous system, simply for the understanding, we call it as PNS, is composed of all the neurons and nerve fibers that connects the central nervous system. Here, the most important thing is, as the nervous system is divided into central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, which is further divided. Here, the peripheral nervous system is the system which connects central nervous system to the rest of the body. It has a connection. This is the whole part of the nervous system, right? In that, peripheral nervous system is composed of all the neurons and the nerve fibers that connect the central nervous system to the rest of the body. So this mediates, so this PNS mediates central nervous system to the rest of the body. So this is what the main function of it. The peripheral nervous system is further divided into somatic and autonomic. The autonomic nervous system is further divided into sympathetic, parasympathetic. The peripheral nervous system provides information to the CNS, that is central nervous system, from sensory receptors like eyes, ears, skin, and relays back motor commands from the brain to the muscles and glands. So in the earlier session, if you can recall, so the nervous system, central nervous system, peripheral, that is somatic and autonomic. That autonomic is further into sympathetic and parasympathetic. And these central nervous system, that is brain and spinal cord, these two and the whole system is connected into the endocrine glands. This is chemical, that is nervous, that is electrical and chemical, that is electrical and chemical. So this is the simple understanding of nervous system. In that, peripheral nervous system, peripheral is somatic and autonomic. Autonomic is further divided into sympathetic and parasympathetic. So what are these functions? Let us see. So this is the whole functioning of the body, and central nervous system is one key. So with the commands from the central nervous system, peripheral nervous system regulates the functioning of the body. Okay. So next. So as we discussed that peripheral nervous system is further divided into somatic and autonomic, let us see what is the somatic nervous system. This system consists of two types of nerves called cranial nerves. Cranial nerves are also simply termed as CN, cranial nerves, and spinal nerves. There are 12 sets of cranial nerves, that is CN1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on to 12, CN12, CN1, CN2, CN3, etc. like that. Okay. 12 sets of cranial nerves which either emanate from or reach different locations from the brain. That is, if it is the brain and it's the rest of the body, the cranial nerves emanates, means generates or has the basic connections from the brain or from the reach to the different locations, that is hands, legs, heart, different organs. So these connect to the body. What are these things? Cranial nerves. Three types of cranial nerves, of course, we discussed in the nervous system, that is sensory, motor. Sensory are the receivables, motor are executable. Mixed has both the systems. Both the sensory and motor nerves are combinedly called as mixed nerves. Sensory nerves collect sensory information from receptors of the head region, that is vision, eyes, audition, that is ears, smell, nose, taste, that is tongue or mouth, touch, that is skin. These are the sensory information, sensory organs, which are collected by sensory nerves and carry them to the brain, that is central nervous system. Somatic nervous system, this is further connected to central nervous system, which is brain. The motor nerves carry motor impulses originating from the brain. That is, the central nervous system, after receiving sensory signals, it converts them to the motor signals in order to functioning of the body to react. That is, to the muscles of the head region, so which regulates the functioning of motor functioning in the head region. So in the central nervous system, that is in the brain, there are some parts which controls sensory functioning and motor functioning in the brain, that we will be understood in the brain structure of the brain and functions in the coming sessions. For example, here movements of the eyeballs are controlled by the motor cranial nerves. So eyeball movement, so if it is an eye, so it's a very bad drawing. Okay, let it be the eye. So eyeball. So when you see left, that is the eyeball moves to the left. When you see right, the eyeball moves to the right. And eyeball has different functions. It dilates, it widely opens the eye, the pupil the structure of eye in the coming sessions. You will understand the structure of eye and its functioning, ear and its functioning in the respective modules, that is sessions. And for the basic understanding, if you see in the mirror, you will understand whether if you see to the left side, the eyeball moves to the left side. If you want to see the right side, the eyeball moves to the right side. This is the simple functioning of the cranial motor nerves, that is related to the sensory organs. It is an organ. It is an organ. Eye is an organ. Ear is an organ. These are sensory organs. These sensory organs will have nerve connections, that is neurons associated. These nerves, sensory nerves or motor nerves. For the sensory, that is the internal, the pupil or other related information will be connected by the sensory nerve. For in order to collect the sense information, that is the object is left side of your vision. That is the motor nerves help the sensory organ to see that side, that is the movement. The movements are associated with this organ. This is where you get these motor cranial nerves. In order for the sensory organ to move, for receiving information, that is sensory information, stimulus. So that is how these motor and sensory nerves will help the human being. Mixed nerves have both sensory and motor fibers. In this cranial nerves, that is CN1, CN2, which we discussed earlier, in these there are 3 to 5 mixed nerves, mixed pair of nerves, that is called mixed nerves. These organs are connected to the mixed regions of the brain. Mixed regions of the brain, those are called mixed nerves. So this is the basic functioning of the cranial nerves that are associated with somatic nervous system. Okay, so for the basic understanding, we discussed the eye part, which conducts sensory. For example, ears also move. Ears also react to the environment. We have uh, some muscles in the ear. For example, if you observe a dog, you can understand these motor cranial nerves effectively. They move the ears according to the sound. Even human beings has that muscle uh, to move the ears. Okay, so mixed nerves has which conduct sensory and motor information from the brain. This is the basic understanding of cranial nerves. We will move to the spinal nerves. Spinal nerves are the set of nerves which are connected out of the spinal cord. In the earlier, cranial nerves are related to the brain, and spinal nerves are related to the spinal cord. Each set has sensory and motor nerves. Spinal nerves have two functions. The sensory fibers of the spinal nerves collect sensory information from all over the body except the head region. The head region is already connected to the cranial nerves. The cranium, you just C word. The C word is related to brain. M word is related to spine. Okay, the C word, cerebellum, cerebrum, cerebral cortex, cranium. The skull is cranium. Okay, so these are the keywords you can just associate it with associate with the brain and you can easily remember them. So, spinal nerves, coming to the spinal nerves, what they do, they they receive information from the rest of the body. Of course, the body is regulated to the brain, but spinal cord acts as the medium of head and the rest of the body. So all the nerves in the spine, they form. This is the mid part of the body. The trunk of the body is very important for a human being. So most part is executed from the mid part, that is spinal cord is the backbone, that is the importance of the backbone of the body. It acts as a medium for head and rest of the body. Every organ, that is hands, legs, are connected by the spinal cord only. So this is the importance of spinal nerves. These are very important. In addition to motor impulses coming down from the brain are sent to the muscles by the motor fibers of the spinal nerves. In the spinal nerves, there are again the sensory and motor, sensory functioning and motor functioning, sensory nerves and motor nerves. In the cranial also there are sensory and motor, and in addition to that they have mixed. In the spinal nerves also there are sensory and motor, the both have these things. So in the somatic nervous system, we have cranial nerves and spinal nerves. That is sensory, motor, mixed. In this again sensory and motor. So how they are connected to the brain and spinal cord. So cranial nerves, that is brain, spinal nerve for the spinal cord. This is the just information. You can prepare a flow chart and see further for the easy remembrance. Okay, let us move. So as we discussed, peripheral nervous system, and in that somatic nervous system is discussed now. We will see the autonomous nervous system. Autonomic nervous system, this system governs activities which are normally not under direct control of the individuals. So here you can just understand as internal functions. Internal functions, for example, breathing, heart pumping, lungs functioning, digestion, uh, that is sweating, kidney functioning, that is filtering blood. So all these functions are autonomic nervous system. These are automatic. These are simply automatic. These are not under your control. There is no stimulus. Is there a thing which stimulates heart? No, right? Is there a thing which stimulates kidneys? No, it is just for fun. It is like, right? There is no system which stimulates. Of course, they are the regular functionings. There can be systems which propels this system. That is for the rapid functioning or slow functioning, which control. Uh, that is propels or controls. Increase the functioning or the decreasing functioning is different. But the day you start breathing, the first day you come out of the mother womb, these functions, no, even in the mother womb, after the formation of these organs, they start functioning without your intention. That is unconsciously, everything is functioning. So that is what the autonomic nervous system is. It controls such internal functions: breathing, blood circulation, salivation, stomach contraction, that is breathing, emotional reactions. Of course, we will see in the next figure That is a diagram. These activities of the autonomic nervous system are under control of the different structures of the brain. So again, we have to understand the central nervous system, which is very much important. That is the part of the brain which the autonomic nervous system is connected. System has two divisions, that is sympathetic division and parasympathetic division. That is what we will see. So what are the main internal functions here are breathing, blood circulation, salivation, etc. How these are done? Sympathetic. This increases and parasympathetic it decreases. Let us see details in the next slide. Although the effect of one division is opposite to the effect of other, means sympathetic versus parasympathetic. Sympathetic versus parasympathetic means the functions are opposite. The sympathetic division deals with emergencies, means any situation which is emergency, which are immediate, when the action must be quick and powerful, such blood flows from the internal organs to the muscles, and breathing rate, oxygen supply, heart rate, and blood sugar level increases. What is the sympathetic division do? Sympathetic division deals with the immediate action. Okay, with further, it controls the digestion because you have to conserve energy. We will see the next slide and we will have a better understanding. The parasympathetic division is mainly concerned with conservation of energy. It monitors the routine functions of the internal system of the body. When the emergency is over, the parasympathetic division takes over, it decelerates the sympathetic activation and calms down the individual to a normal condition. So normally the heart beats for 72 beats per second or 120 by 80 is the blood pressure. The kidneys functioning is regular. The digestive system, the intestine functioning is regular. But when there is a situation, when a man or a woman, that is a human being, has to work, these sympathetic and parasympathetic divisions work, start controlling whether it is needed. When there is an acceleration, for example, running, you want to work harder, you want to push harder. That is the parasympathetic and the sympathetic functions start. So when there is a need, the sympathetic division comes into picture and accelerates the functioning of the organs, that is motor functioning. Either you have to fight the hands, the legs, all these functions, the energy is increased. But when for example, in a fighting situation, fight or flight, after the situation is over, the parasympathetic division is activated. That is, it controls the heartbeat. It regulates the heartbeat, the other functioning, breathing, the oxygen level, the sugar levels, all will be controlled by the parasympathetic division. This is how the nervous system will play a very key role. But what is the basis? It is the brain which has all the command control of the body, and we will see these in details of these functionings of the brain in the coming sessions. So for the general understanding the functioning of sympathetic and parasympathetic, we have this diagram. So for example, say eyes, that is throat, heart, lungs, that is a liver. Liver is for the chemicals and the balancing digestive system, that is intestines, and the bladder, that is the urinary system. These are the important systems. Sympathetic accelerates. This is for the effective functioning in the emergencies. What it do? It secretes adrenaline hormone, fight or flight hormone. Digestive functioning, it stops the functioning of digestion, inhibits bladder, it controls bladder, bronchi, that is the lungs part, accelerates heart, that is for high pumping of the blood, increases sweating, that is the energy is consumed for the consumption of energy, salivation, it controls salivation, dilates people, that is for the extreme controlled vision, tear glands. So all these functions will be carried out by the sympathetic. So sympathetic is relevant to the spinal cord. This system, the whole system of the spinal nerves is called chain of sympathetic ganglia. Most of the, if you can see what it do, it is the control system for the motor organs. So these are all mostly divided for the motor organs and related to spinal cord. So stem of the brain, these are all related to the spinal cord. So most of the is related to spinal cord. Okay, this is the main difference. So as it is accelerated, so then next is the parasympathetic. It controls. That is constricts people. So it normalizes, inhibits tear gland. When there is some emergency like dust or anything, it controls it, increases salivation. For normalizing, you want to drink water, right? Water or some liquids. So then slow down the heart, constricts bronchi, that is part of the lung, increases digestive to have some food functioning, to get energy, and then you will feel relaxed. And then contracts bladder, that is for the kidneys to function effectively. So this is what the both the functioning of sympathetic and parasympathetic. So before it, the autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system is the one very important of this both, that is parasympathetic and sympathetic autonomous nervous system. It regulates, it balances the whole body by by communicating with the brain and spinal cord. So this is the basic understanding of peripheral nervous system, which is further divided. Peripheral nervous system, which connects the brain to the body. Peripheral nervous system, that is somatic and autonomic. Autonomic nervous system is divided into parasympathetic and sympathetic. This is the simple structure we have to remember. You have to get a picture of all the flow chart, and the picture has to be very clear in your brains so that you can understand them very clearly and understand the basis, biological basis of behavior, because the whole system, the human being is physically present, and then the physical presence, how it is constructed, how it is connected, how you are functioning, how your hands are moving, how you are seeing, all these things, basis of behavior is related to this nervous system. And particularly you have to have a basic understanding for this, to understand the human, why he is reacting, what is all happening when some angry situation, when there is a meditative and calm situation, what are all the organs all involved. So this is the basic knowledge we will be getting by the understanding of biological basis of human behavior. So this is the information for today in this session. Hope you got a good understanding of this peripheral nervous system, which connects the central nervous system, that is brain, to the rest of the body. This is the basic knowledge of the peripheral nervous system. Hope you got a good understanding. If you have more doubts, so please write to these mail IDs. Thank you so much. Have a great day.